Hello everyone, and today our theme is about perfume, the art history and the trading part. And then now we are having this questionnaire in this content table. If you have any questions, you can also link in. And firstly, I would like to talk about a really brief history about the rise up of perfume. Basically, it's about Louis 14th, and then he moved his royal court to Versailles in 1682, and then the perfume was used as a means of masking body odor or embalming the air of the court, and then because they're in a very unpleasant environment due to poor sanitation. So and this is a very like everybody knows it, and then afterwards because Louis XIV is so obsessed with the scent, so he committed to make a new scent for each day of a week, and then he used a blend. It's called Aqua Angeli, and then he also have a pavilion built in Versailles, filled with the fragrance flower for romantic encounters. And then afterwards, we have her wife and Maria Antoine, and she gave more like transition of perfumery from medicinal to artistic expression occurred uh during her days, and then afterwards there is a little bit of decline because the competitive environment was governed by the needs to reduce costs, integrating productions, and possibly down to the level of managing of the raw materials, and then was and then after 1850s, and then there are pretty much of them reduce the entire range of essence necessary for perfume production, and then they have to like resort to more than one supplier, and then it make the industry become hardly to survive. And then afterwards, about 1914, there is a house to bring it up again. And then after the decline, I would like to talk about just said about the hygienes and the role of the perfume. Because while we're talking about hygiene, how do we know how they use it as a cleaning, sanitation stuff? As the photo you can see, it's mainly about like very vapory stuff, and then you will get in the box, and then people will get in its steam as very like stabilizes people's body. And also they are also thought to strengthen body and mind, prevent some spasms, and cure the lethargy. And then this is like an invention by Pierre Le Hood in the 1770s. And there are some ingredients from the perfumers, and then also there are mercury and sulfur that make them to pose them to danger if they used as hygiene. And then afterwards, we have some more uh, uh, rather than hygiene, we have the role of perfume because as we know that perfume was used to like brought by Louis 14th, and it should be for male, but why is it like turn out to be a women's stereotyped product? And now it's about courtship and seduction, but it should be for something we can use for both women and men. And then this is where there should be the equality of uh, the men's and women's use. And then afterwards, we have Faye to introduce as a perfume as also as an art form. And then it also like a commissioned fragrances. We can know about the kings and queens, uh, like their emotions, and then also about the luxuries, they how they showcase the wearers wealth and sophistications, and yet and then the symbolism of the fragrance also like making kind of a love marks of a favor. That is where we known this modern city. And then beside of the role about the trading, I think the trading part would be the most important part because while perfumes are so like luxurious, how they trade them in their nobility, and then uh, they were used the trade cards and board size to promote the products, like the photos and the given postcards here, and then we will give it to the nobilities. And then it's also include for the advertisement for a simple image, shop name and the address, and then the available products. And then later on, they were because the popularity of using uh scented products, so there are water, powders, or even like gloves, accessories, shoes, and even any items. So the scented products could be in everything, and uh like just based on your own interest. So it can be everything. Then we will have Faye to introduce us the bottle of the perfume.
Yeah, let's dive into the design of the bottles, shall we? But first, why focusing on the 18th century perfume bottles? It offers insight to a transformative period in French culture marked by elegance and sophistication. Characterized by Rococo style, this ornate designs reflect exquisite craftsmanship. Perfume became integral to cult life and personal identity. So, for the container transformation, by the late 17th century, France became the center of perfume industry and celebrated for its exquisite fragrances. The growth spurred the creation of specialized containers for aromatic materials, enhancing perfumery and contributing to the rich tradition to craftsmanship. So, how's it like before? So, in the 17th century, they used to store it in like the vinaigrettes, this small decorated flask that comes in various shapes, typically rectangular, and are often attached to a chain for convenience to protect the erosion from the acid within. But why its functionality? Why the change? High society began to prefer delicately scented waters made from floral bouquets over more intense perfumes. To avoid overwhelming those who found stronger scents imposing, ladies were advised to carry the fragrances in a flask. So it towards to making it like a fashionable fragrances to a stylish method of storing, displaying, and wearing perfume. What are the norms material? So porcelain was the primary material, but Athens also utilized glass, rock crystal, silver, gold, enamel, amber, ivory, alabaster, and other materials. Among the most sought after enamel scent and etui, crafted in Boston and Birmingham, England. The techniques used in making the bottles are bowling, cutting, and gluing. So the glass was skillfully blown in the shape and then intricately cut into patterns. And the gluing will add a touch of luxury, like gold leaf, to apply to enhance the beauty of the bottles, showcasing exquisite craftsmanship. And for the shape, so various shapes come into including the elegant falcon, which featured a slant body and a delicate neck for easy pouring, and also a globe offered a rounded, inviting designs, where an ornate style showcased intricate designs and embellishment. And some of them are like a small boxes, they endowed with patterns and finishes. For patterns, they often featured intricate patterns such as florals, like the comfortability of nature, also the leaf motifs, like organic touch, seashells for the marines. So there are really different themes. Colors, a diverse palette were showcased that include vibrant colors like the cobalt blue or the emerald green, but however, the white porcelain with gold gilding remained the most favored choice. The combination really highlight the elegance, the gold embellishment, enhancing the pristine white, creating a striking contrast and amplified the artistry of the era. But automation, they were also quite exclusive, featuring elaborate engravings such as the cut designs, also the gold caps, and the gemstone inlays, enhancing aesthetic appeal. For the characteristic for the antique fragrance, the bottle. So for that period, French perfume bottles embodied the artistry of three distinct periods: the Neoclassicism, Rococo, and Baroque. So each of them maybe they will featured simplicity or the overly dramatic romanticism or dramatic lavishing decorated details. And the intricate designs also they featured floral, symbolic, and geometric, such as the flowers represent love and purity. Additional like the symbolic graving like hearts and doves. have a deeper meaning, but also the simpler one like geometric patterns, like diamonds or zigzags, so quite structural. Um, so what set the French bottles different from others? It leaves a really remarkable impression with its luxurious ornaments, intricate patterns, and elegant shape, serving a really significant cultural symbol. The exports of France, particularly these exclusive perfume bottles, have become integral to the country's identity, reflecting its rich heritage and artistry. And what difference with the modern ages perfume bottles? Modern perfume bottles contrast sharply. Like today's bottles are typically more like a glass or matte surfaces, allowing transparency, emphasizing simplicity and elegance. Decorations are more often found on the cap rather than the bottle itself. So the common shapes are really curvy cylinders or large rectangular chunks with standard volume like 100 ml. In contrast, the 18th centuries are more ornate glass, intricate patterns, and smaller, more elaborate designs. But in both centuries, they often offer tester size for portable use. Yeah, mostly a glass chunk sitting at home. So for the impact of modern perfume bottles is profound. They represent luxurious love and nature, and perfume is undeniably an industry and a significance of France.
Oh, and like our after we have some antique stuff, information, we also have some modernism, uh, uh, more than data. Like as we have known in the class about Parisians are very alert with the super sweet, sugary, and loud perfume, and it's like very very strong of like candies or cotton or even like some very floral stuff, while they are more be like airy, breezy, flowy. Is about a more mild, floral, and then while we have some like French data, we also like to say about like in Asian, in Chinese, we often use jasmine or rose, even though it's like a bit strong, but it's definitely not the very strong one. And then afterwards, we have this data is about the leading women's fragrance in France in 2023, and then the popularity of the index score. It was surprisingly it's not Chanel or Dior, but Narciso have the highest score in this data. And then we will show it afterwards. And then about culture export, like I have said, I studied Japanese before, so I am so into about the Japanese culture too. So it is a very blended culture with Japanese and French because Izumiyaki is like based in Paris and their design and their even their fashions, and it is composed by Ja Jacques Cavier, and then he was the one also composed Louis Vuitton's perfumes, and then it also like produced with the same factory house in Burberry called Beauty Prestige International. And then it's also matched with Parisians, like their scents, like aquatic floral is not very strong, and then it is a very luxurious in Japanese, and it is a high-end perfume. So we not only like focusing on the big brands about the Dior, Louis Vuitton, or something like a Chanel No. 5, and then we have so much more because with the same factories, same houses, and it will be more varieties